What is going on, everybody? How are we all doing this evening? Happy midnight. We are here just after midnight on Leap Day. This comes once every 4 years. First Leap Day video I've done in this nearly 4 year adventure here on the tube of you and I. We're going to be here talking about, of course, favorite topic of mine. That is Nightstand Cinema. And I figure putting this one just after midnight Colorado time, what better way to do the Nightstand Cinema than by making it exclusively horror? Because what are the types of films to watch after midnight? Of course, horror films. Absolutely spooky. And a refresher, because it's been a while since I've done Nightstand. What is Nightstand Cinema? Those are like sort of go-to comfort movies. And I don't know, maybe putting a horror movie in that sort of comfort sphere, that might come off as a little weird to some people, but that's definitely what tonight is going to be about there. Taking a look at 5 comfort horror movies. I see we got King Gore in the chat. How's it going, man? Welcome back. Long time no see, brother man. But yes, Nightstand Cinema. A little coin that I termed a few weeks back. As far as I know, I was the first one to say that, so copyright need not apply, perhaps. Who knows? We're going to be taking a look, though, at sort of those 5 go-to films. Again, why it's called Nightstand is because they're never really always on the shelf, even if they have a spot on there. You have them there, but you do take them off from time to time, and you leave them real close to the player. You leave them real close to, say, your nightstand, hence the term. We're going to be taking a look at 5 that are constantly in rotation for me in terms of horror films. And there's a way I could do this. I could start with the earliest, because they're not really in any particular order of ranking. You know what? Fuck it. We're going to do these ones by format as opposed to release date. Starting with one that is on VHS tape. I do also have this on Blu-ray, but the VHS tape is just easier to present because otherwise it is a 3-pack. And, for aesthetic purposes, whatever, we're not going to show the 3-pack. We're going to show it as the individual. But the first one is a favorite of mine, has been for quite a long time. Vampire movies, they sometimes hit or miss for me. But one that has always been a strong, outstanding member of that subgenre, that's going to be The Lost Boys. This is one that I go to very frequently. I don't play the tape so much anymore since I got the Blu-ray 3-pack. It's just a lot easier to do that and not worry about the tape being torn apart. But this is one that, since I was like 8, has been a constant rotator. Of course, oftentimes I was either renting it or borrowing it from a friend who might have owned it. And it was one of those ones that I just couldn't get enough of the first time I saw it. And it was one of those movies that, in the years that I went without watching it, it was a movie that had all these different scenes, different elements that were always constantly in my mind. So The Lost Boys, definitely one that is one to reach for. I've watched, like, in the last month alone, probably watched this bad boy like 4 times just because it was right there on the nightstand. And you could debate, too, whether this is horror or comedy. It's definitely got elements of both. This is possibly a perfect film. Damn near perfect, if not. But The Lost Boys, absolutely love it. We'll just put the tape right back there. Perfect. Looking now at some DVDs. These ones are in rotation because one of them I think has a sort of a calming element to it. And I don't know, it's kind of weird to say that about it, I think. But this is one, again, constantly in rotation. That's going to be The Shining. This particular copy, one reason why it is a constant rotator is because I could put this one in, and it's one of those ones where when it gets to the main menu, it only repeats the main menu like for a minute before it starts to replay the film. And those kind of releases are always going to be a prominent staple in the Nightstand Cinema. And The Shining is one of those movies that's just relaxing in the most unnerving kind of way, if that makes sense. It's not too loud, so it's able to allow you to relax if you just want to lay there. You don't really intend on watching it, just kind of listen to the sounds of the film, and it just gently puts you under. And, takes place in Colorado, so it's got that extra connection there. Uh, Usually, you're going to find yourself falling asleep before it gets too raucous, and perhaps when it's doing its replay cycle, you could be waking up during that. So that is kind of the beauty of putting this one on, because it plays on that sort of loop. So it really, I think, tonally works for The Shining. We're just going to set you there. Don't fall. Another one. This is actually definitely the newest film on here, and this is one that almost doesn't feel like a horror film for the most part. It just feels like a piece of classic old Hollywood. You guys might know exactly the film I'm talking about. That is going to be 2022's Pearl. Uh, Personally, I think X is the one I like better out of the two so far. But Pearl, I think, is sort of the better film in a lot of ways. I know that's like a weird sort of statement there, but this one, it's another one of those where it has this sort of very calm, very mellow sort of atmosphere to it, where it is one that I feel putting it on when you're just trying to go to bed or just trying to have a calm, relaxing movie session, whatever. This is definitely a way to get that accomplished. Pearl is one that I think is a super artistic film too, and it's one that it really warrants several rewatches. So for that reason, it's also not spending too much time on the shelf. Uh, but it's one that definitely requires, I think, quite a few watches. And once you get to that point where you realize that it is a great film, you're probably going to be going back and forth to it too. Uh, Honestly, I remember it felt like it was like 3 hours long the first time I watched it, but it's not even 2 hours long. Uh, and typically you hear something like that and think, oh, that doesn't sound too good for the movie. Well, it is, because it has that like sort of Gone with the Wind kind of vibe where you think it's one of those extra long films. It's not, but it's a solid freaking film. Absolutely amazing, brilliant, and I don't know if soothing is the right word, but it has that sort of calming nature to it, and I really dig that. Another one, this one, I'm almost at a point where I'm feeling like these aren't just movies that I reach for a lot, but they might be among my favorite of the horror genre. This one definitely gives cadence to the, or no, not cadence, gives some oomph to that part of the argument, I guess. That's going to be this bad boy here, Psycho 2. Easily and arguably the best of the franchise for Psycho. You could argue the original, you could argue the second. I'm a Psycho 2 guy. This one is one that I can just go back to. It's another one that's very sort of relaxing. It's I think something about the way the story unfolds, it's less of a mind fuck than the original film in a lot of ways. So again, you don't really need to be paying that full attention. You can just be kind of vibing out to the film. It's one that's just a constant one that I reach for. I mean, I've got this copy. I've got the 4-pack that I think has the 2, 3, 4 in the TV movie. Regular DVD copy standalone, and I another one that was on a different type of disc, but got like 4 copies of this floating around. So that if that doesn't indicate that Psycho 2 is something that I constantly watch. It's like I don't even have a 4K player, but I have this copy. Psycho 2 is absolutely phenomenal. Easily the best in that series for my money. I shall be getting a 4K player soon, so when I do that, I'll definitely be running these Arrow releases through. Yeah, definitely, definitely want to go through and rewatch those because they're all pretty solid. I mean, the fourth one, I'm not too big on, but for being a prequel and sort of a made-for-TV prequel, Psycho 4 wasn't terrible. It has some redeeming qualities, I think, and it doesn't really take too much away from the original story. Like, it kind of raises some questions, but it's not like one of those overly offensive entries. But Psycho by Hitchcock is absolutely great. I mean, that's a freaking masterpiece. If there is a movie that I think can take that title, I would not argue Hitchcock's Psycho there. Psycho 2, like I said, is probably my favorite, so thoughts on that are very apparent. 3, I just have a lot of nostalgia for. It was like the second horror movie I ever watched, so, you know. Uh, and yeah, Psycho 4 is just, it's not terrible. I haven't seen the Bates Motel TV film, but curious to check that one out. And I hate to even bring up the Gus Van Sant Psycho. You can't really say that's a terrible movie because when you consider it being a frame for frame of the original, if the original is a masterpiece, you can fill in the blanks there. I can't bring myself to say those words with a straight face, but you can't say that that is a terrible film, especially if you highly regard the original. Uh, that could be a hot take. Is that a teaser to something? Perhaps. But the final entry in this Nightstand Cinema After Midnight Horror Edition special, it's going to be one of my favorite to watch in the dark type of films. That's going to be The Omen. Another possible hot take. This is better than The Exorcist. I'm not sorry. Like, sometimes I'll say sarcastically that I'm sorry when it comes to a severe hot take. But this, much more rewatchable than The Exorcist. I think it moves at a better pace than The Exorcist. The story, I think, is a little bit scarier. But this one, it's another one of those sort of slow burn type of films, though, that sort of allows itself to be one of those, hey, you want to unwind, but you want to have your nerves fucking racked up at the same time. The Omen is totally something to reach for. And as a guy who doesn't have kids, I think I can comfortably watch this and not feel too terrified. So I guess that's a good thing in that sense. But The Omen, I mean, it's one of those films that I think is a perfect film also in terms of horror. It's not only a great horror film, but it's just a great film, period. I think on Letterboxd, too, I have a review for that. So if you guys want to go and check that out, that'd be a cool little review to read. What the? You guys want to go and check that out, that'd be that's fucking hilarious. Pocket tried to start playing this episode. Ain't that about a bitch? uh, anyway, let's see. You guys are commenting here just a little bit. Oh, we got not Chris, but Movie Misfits in the house. What is up? Fuck yeah. Is that a cardinal? Is that in regards to the Exorcist versus Omen statement? But yeah, again, that is one of those things that I will not apologize for saying. But yeah, I see a cardinal black square in a church. Yeah, so I'd say that's a crow, and yeah, hell yeah, yeah, because it looks like you can see on the screen there. I mean, you can't see the mouse there, but Looks like a damn cardinal on there. But I definitely dig that. That's actually the show that I'm going to be doing on Sunday morning, actually. On March 3rd, I'm going to be doing Hot Takes Live. And I figure that's going to be a fun topic to do there. Let's just pull up the thumbnail. I haven't made the video. I haven't uploaded the thumbnail yet or made it part of the actual video, but I did get it made up. Just been slacking a little bit. But this here, Sunday morning, I think 10:30 a.m. What's it say? 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to come by. We're going to talk some hot takes, controversial opinions that could definitely maybe get me into some trouble. We'll see what happens with those. I've got quite a few of them, and I've kind of dropped a few of them over the years throughout the videos, just little sprinklings. But I figure, you know what? Let's put all of these into one place. And I know I'm not going to be the first or the last guy on YouTube to do a video for that. I think everybody's had to do it at least one time. And it's kind of one of those, I feel almost a staple of a video type where you kind of got to do it. So I'll definitely be getting that done on Sunday. That's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be like this movie versus that, or, just typical sort of hot takes. Not really typical, but typical formatting. Hot cake's always fun. Absolutely, man. I could go for a hot cake right now. Just only thing better than a hot cake, though, is a warm apple pie. Anyway, I hate how much I amuse myself sometimes. I swear, I'm like one of the few people who could be locked in a room and probably not go too crazy by the end of it. But almost better than hot cakes are cookies. And the only cookies I want are these right here.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Would you like a cookie, son?
Those are some cookies I would take. And I am absolutely glad that the chat somehow allowed us to segue into that, because I have almost no context to ever bring that clip up. But it is one I have saved up for just an occasion. But yeah, no, definitely going to be doing the hot takes on Sunday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Real quick before we move on topic-wise, though, let's just recap exactly what the 5 Nightstand Cinema for Horror edition is. We've got The Omen. Again, almost a perfect film. Psycho 2. The definition of a superior sequel. We've got Pearl. Just an absolutely amazing film. The Shining. Was it King's favorite? No. But it's a must-watch. Again, the way that copy repeats itself, love it. And The Lost Boys. A childhood favorite of mine. One that constantly needs to be in the player. There's no excuse for it not to be. I just love this film. There's just so much going on, and it's fucking hilarious. And, if you have not watched The Lost Boys, or you know someone who has not, you need to call up the Frog Brothers and tell them, hey, this movie could save your life. This movie could save your life one day. Is that true? Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. But that's what I really want to talk about, though, because I think there's some pretty cool conversations to be had about The Lost Boys. So definitely something I want to do at some point. What else to bring up while we're here? Again, happy Leap Day, everybody. Especially if you're in a part of the world where it is already the 29th of February. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? We just don't get it a whole lot. Yes, those of you who might not know, if you're tuning in at this point, you know that there is an upcoming film project Those are mostly found on the second channel. We're going to play that, plug it real quick because that's what we got to do. Script is in the works. Pretty damn close to being done, in fact. I think I'm close to halfway or about 2/3 of the way through. See how it unfolds from there narratively. But coming to you, hopefully by the spring. We're getting damn close, so I might have to stretch that to the summer or early fall. I hope not, but it's a very real possibility. We've got Dog Screams coming to you. And that's something that we'll also be taking a closer look at on Sunday. That will be a later show, though. That will be, I think it's going to be, 8:30 Mountain Time. Yeah, 8:30 Mountain Time, so about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Going to be going live on Sunday the 3rd to take a look at Dog Screams, talk about that a little bit more, and properly, more so than I did the other day, introduce some of the cast members there. Some may show up, some I might have small recordings of. Definitely show off some headshots if they're not able to attend. There's still a few open spots, but for the most part, I've got that bad boy almost completely cast, so pretty proud of the progress that it does have going on for it. Script's not done, filming hasn't started, but we're getting damn close to where we need to be. I think managers within the Hollywood system and the proper way to get a project rolling, they're probably all fucking shitting over that if they knew, like, this guy's fucking crazy doing this all out of order. You know what? Why not? Why not? It's going to be a fun time, though, on Sunday. Definitely wanting to get that, though. I really like the way it's turning out. And, you know, the idea started super small, turned into a little bit of an idea, and it's really just kind of snowballing into something a little bit bigger than I was intending for it to be. And that I'm honestly very, very proud of, honestly. It's like, I wasn't expecting that to take that kind of turn. But what I'm really ready for is after that's done, can properly start work on Invasion at 406 Maple Lane, the home invasion thriller horror there, very much in line with the 70s style and sensibility. For those of you who saw me struggling with the word the other day, it's going to have those 70s sensibilities. That's the word I couldn't figure out the other day. Sensibility. Let's run that teaser by real quick, because that was the first thing I had before I finished script. But that story has actually been pretty well written through from the starting to the finishing point. Let's run that by. And again, anyone who may have caught the little card at the end of that, there is an updated version of that with the production house email. Please use that one if you do feel the need to follow the prompt or the reach out, whatever. If you decide to reach there, just contact the DCLXVI23 at gmail.com. Or, oh, no, I botched that. DCLXVI Films 23 at gmail.com. That sounds about right. Pull up the little banner. That's what we'll do, because I know it's on the banner. There we go. If you have any questions, comments, or anything to offer regarding development, production, anything at all like that, you can contact me right there. But you also don't have to, because in the spirit of independence, I'd probably yell at somebody for throwing a handout my way, but if I need help, I'm usually more likely going to ask for it than let it fall into my lap. Again, that's sort of the reason why that's intending to be taking off the way it is. But anyway, it's getting a little late here. I know this is a short show, just doing like half-hour spurts at a time. But, some airtime is better than none. Again, want to thank you guys, Chris and Gore specifically, for hanging out in the chat there. You guys have a good night. Thank you again for coming by. Happy Leap Day, gentlemen. I have no words but thank you. And I will see you guys next time. But you know what to do. As always, listen to Chop Top. He's got some good advice for you.
Dog will hunt! Get that bitch, Leatherface! Get that bitch! Dog will hunt!
Dog will hunt. The ultimate sign off. You guys take care. Don't have too much fun out there. Watch some scary movies, for crying out loud, because that's all we're here to do. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. Anyway, once again, I'll see you guys Sunday. Be good to each other. Oh, almost ripped that one off. You guys be good to each other and everyone else, yourselves. Anyway, I'm just blowing smoke at this point. Catch y'all later.